guest in waiting to have a conversation around the IYC calls for immediate sack of FCT Minister Nyesome Wike. This developing news happened, but we will still speak with him regardless. Vincent Okoro, political analyst. Thanks for joining us this evening on Signature Evening.
Yes, thank you very much. Just as you have said, my name is Okoro Vincent Oganekewe. Whichever way you choose to permutate those names, and I'm always
Tell us about River State, Vincent.
Station.
Tell us about River State and with the breaking news. We were going to talk to you about the IYC calling for immediate sack of the FCT minister, and then something fresh happened. Is there a connection?
Okay. It depends on how one decides to look at it. Which we may want to decide or to accept whether there's a connection or there is no connection between the threat by the or the ultimatum, if I may put it that way, by the IYC calling for the minister of the FCC to be sacked, and then the state of emergency that has just been declared. Now, on the part of not being a connection, the president actually made his press conference with respect to realities in River State, and then he didn't make any direct connection with respect to what the IYC were saying. And then on the other way, there's no way one would divorce the threat by the IYC, not just about the minister, not just about the request for the minister of the FCT being the person of the former governor of River State, His Excellency Nyesome Wike, to be removed, and then in addition to they saying that the present governor, who is now suspended, by the virtue of the state of emergency, one cannot divorce, the threat by the IYC from the decision of the president, So one can always see that, okay, it is also subsumed, in the reasons why, among the plethora of reasons why the president decided on what we are seeing right now.
Okay, so let's look at these other reasons aside the threats of IYC. And there was a bombing yesterday of some suburb in River State. These are issues too, but let's look at other issues that would have prompted Mr. President into instituting the state of emergency in River State right now.
Okay, you are talking about the various issues, right?
Yes, you brought it up, so I need you to expatiate.
Okay, what is there is that the state of emergency on the one hand is something that ordinarily, with the way things have been for over 2 years now in the state,
close to 2 years rather,
shouldn't be surprised.
Close to 2 years, Vincent.
Yes. I'm with you.
Okay, I said close to 2 years and not over 2 years.
Yeah, close to 2 years actually. Yes, close to 2 years actually. Now we had a situation where there's an impasse as far as the relationship between the executive arm of government in the state and the legislative arm is concerned. Where there were rumors of impeachment or attempt at impeachment on the governor. Then the governor on the other hand decided that he can do away with the elected legislative arm of government in the state. We have not forgotten how bulldozers were brought to the House of Assembly, and the House of Assembly where ordinarily that is where the legislative arm meet for their businesses, was brought down with bulldozers, and then there were a lot of talk with respect to them not having defected, a lot of court cases, and then it climaxed to where the Supreme Court decided that the legislative arm of government should immediately resume sitting.
You're ruling out the local government issues where they already...
Including the local government issue, where apparently the governor conducted local government election without following due process, and even even against the constitution, of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, all these boys climax where the Supreme Court passed his judgment and, kind of mandated the governor to go and start acting in line with the dictate of the constitution.
But then, he already made steps by visiting the House of Assembly to present the budget, represent the budget, and when the initial effort did not work out, he wrote today. He told us he wrote to the speaker personal letters and
Yes.
sent the letters through a courier service.
Yes. If you are talking about that, then we can start looking at if due process was followed by the governor. Because first and foremost, there was an invitation for them to come for a meeting in government house. When the legislative arm of government in the state, perceived that they are being undermined, the way that invitation came, and they decided not to honor that invitation, then the governor, showed up against, let me say, public expectation, at the gate of the legislative, the meeting point of the legislature, because the House of Assembly is sit down, demolished to speak, and then there was a press conference by him telling the whole world that he came to present the budget, and then he was not allowed into the gathering point of the House of Assembly. Now, at the end of the day, he went back, and then there seems to be a formal written notice. And again, the formal written notice, there are insinuations that it was merely published, was merely passed to them through WhatsApp message. So at the end, now when we look at all this, then it's difficult for one to conclude if what the governor has been doing as far as his relationship with the House of Assembly is concerned after the Supreme Court judgment, if it has added up as far as the pursuit of peace, that every well-meaning citizen of Rivers State is concerned. So it will be difficult for one to actually, conclude that what the governor is doing is actually in tandem with the wish of everyone to see that there is peace. So coming to the issue of the IYC issuing their threat and all the rest of them, well, we can say that it has a bearing on the state of emergency that we are going to endure, because I myself am a citizen of Rivers State for the next 6 months, except if something happens along the way and then it comes to an end before the 6-month time. So whatever it is now, it will be difficult for anyone to divorce the action of the IYC from that of the president.
Oh, okay. I don't know. With this institution of a state of emergency in the state, it's going to be the military taking over the affairs of the state the next 6 months. And we are told that the way it happens is that once state of emergency is instituted, it allows the president to make the necessary input into several regulations and probably restore peace. I don't know if peace is anything to come by within the next 6 months, going by the threats from all corners, especially from IYC. But what do you foresee will happen in Rivers State as regards this political crisis the next 6 months?
Okay, first and foremost, I want to say that state of emergency, anywhere, like as it is in Rivers State, it's not a call for curfew. It doesn't mean that the citizens of the state are going to be walking the street with their hands up. It doesn't mean that there will be no nightlife anymore and not the rest of them. What it does is to restore some kind of order and consciousness, whereby people begin to be conscious of what they do, what they say, where they go, and all the rest of them. Then with respect to how this will bring about lasting peace, how this is going to bring order, how this is going to restore the tenets of democracy when it comes to the relationship between the three arms of government in the state is concerned. Now it will now be done actually to the action of the president. Now the sole administrator of the state, as I believe you are aware that the state of emergency is not, it didn't suspend the executive arm of government alone. Both the executive arm and the legislative arm will be going to rest for now. Now the sole administrator of the state is going to be reporting to the president, and then whatever activities that are going to that ordinarily would be chaired by the House of Assembly will now be directed to the National Assembly. Now, the president, has his responsibility right now to ensure that within this month, certain expectations are met. Now, one of it, like I said earlier, is the restoration of all democratic tenets, whereby if the governor is to come back, the House of Assembly is to be restored, then we'll be expecting that by the end of this month, then we should be seeing a working relationship, not necessarily the way they want it, but as expected, by those that elected both the executive and the legislative arm of government, to power. So we are expecting that that working relationship would be restored. And then what the public is perceived as the excesses of both the executive and the legislative arm, we believe that by the end of this month will be brought to rest. Will no longer be seeing the bickering, the back and front movement, and all the accumulated issues. So to be expected that what they ordinarily failed to do that resorted to this, they will now start doing it. So that there will not be a situation where maybe after they are called back, then in the next few months again, we'll find ourselves in the same circles.
Okay. Vincent, this state of emergency affects both the legislature and the executive arms. So everyone is no longer going to perform their constitutional duties. I don't know. Is it possible that this will actually calm all nerves and bring all stakeholders to a round table for a conversation? You think so? Do we foresee peace?
Since the president declared the state of emergency, I have taken my time to kind of comb both the social media space, radio, television, and all the rest of them. Now, almost every hour of the day, you'll be hearing, people taking on each other with respect to the blah baloo, if I may put it that way, that is happening in the state as far as the political space is concerned. But since this state of emergency, there's a kind of calmness, okay, let us wait to see what is going to happen next. And then for the governor or the chief executive and his cabinet, they will now be, to me, or for the reality as expected, they will begin to now say that, okay, we cannot actually, behave the way, we decide or we choose. The same also applies to the legislative arm. And that is going to reflect on those that we call their followers or their supporters. So as expected, I think it's going to restore the needed calmness, because going to 2 years now, it has been very, very uneasy, both politically, socially, economic, and otherwise, as far the political atmosphere in Rivers State is concerned.
Now, this local government election that has been scheduled for August, you think with this current situation is going to be affected?
Well, ordinarily, it is expected that the lives of a Rivers State citizen will not be on hold because of state of emergency. It is expected that everyone will be able to go on their normal business. Then there are a lot of bills, a lot of processes, a lot of projects that have been set in motion before the state of emergency was announced. Now, the essence of having a sole administrator is to ensure that processes, projects, and all the rest of their salaries, all of them will still be going on smoothly, so that river citizens will not die of hunger, they will not die of health issues, they will not die of starvation, their businesses will not be on hold. So the same thing will also reflect on, certain things that the government have set in motion, including the local government election that is due to hold by August. But where the question or the caveat comes in is when we are looking at what they have done so far, with the sole administrator see it that the property was done. So if the property wasn't done in announcing or in preparation towards the August date, then you agree with me that for the sole administrator, if he feels that the writing was not done, then that may be reviewed. And in reviewing it, he will not be in position to report to whoever that is superior, like the president, the House of the National Assembly, that okay, at this material time, the the local government election before August should be on hold, especially if there are indications that is going to be a recipe for another social and political issues in the state. So I think everything will now lie on the table of the sole administrator and then the president and the National Assembly for them to decide if that August is going to be is still feasible or if the election is going to be on hold.
Vincent, various schools of thoughts have different angles to what is going on in River State as per who should take the blame, the fall rather, for what is going on. Is it Wike who appears to be overburdening the River State governor, or the River State governor, or the House of Assembly members who already, though verbally, indicated the interest of a carpet crossing to APC from PDP, the party, the platform that brought them to power? Who should take the blame in the River State embroglio? Remember that with this recent event, it appears the governor Sim Fubara is taking steps. First of all, he annulled the election of the local government chairman and called for a fresh election. He made efforts to represent the budget, even against his principles and what he has said in the past. But the House of Assembly, in quotes, appears to be the clog in the wheel here, trying not to give him the room or even accept his letter. And then the next thing, sampling a letter of gross misconduct against them. Who, in your own opinion, do you think is to be blamed in this whole matter?
Okay, so you actually mentioned three parties here: the governor of the state, the House of Assembly members, the State House of Assembly members, and the Minister of the FCT, the person of and Wike.
You can add others if you know of other parties.
Can I get you? You said?
I said you can name others if you are aware of other parties.
Yes, including those that are fanning the handbag of discord. Yes, that's some of the people of the state. Now I will have to kind of take my analysis block by block. Now, for the Minister of the FCT, I can say that he is like the political godfather of the state. Who kind of, who is kind of overseeing both. I'm not so oversee, rather the person, both the executive and the legislative arm of government in the state, kind of look onto, because all of them were elected under the umbrella of the PDP, where the Minister of the FCT is the leader of the party in the state. No matter how anybody wants to color it. Now you will not expect that as a father figure that the Minister of the FCT is, he will not have impute. But
Vincent, is he carrying on as a father figure now with his utterances? Is he carrying on as a father figure? I'm talking about the FCT minister, who is the immediate past governor of the state. You've listened to his utterances, right?
And whether he is carrying on as the father of the state or not, father.
Yes.
Now, the governor as it is today, or as it were, he is the one that is holding the knife and the yam. Then it is left for him to cut the way he desires or the way it suits him. And I will tell you for free that the governor, the president of Nyesome Fubara, has been dishing out the yam the way it didn't fit, such that, just as you said some minutes ago, that there are things that he is doing now, which he initially decided that he will never do. For instance, it's never been his will, kind of, from all indications, to present the budget to the House of Assembly, led by Martis and Mewule. Now, today, he's telling the world that he wants to present the budget to Martis and Mewule. And then we are seeing a situation where that has not been possible prior to the state of emergency. Then on the part of Martis and Mewule and co, now it is difficult for one to really have a stronghold as to why the initial action to, number one, impeach the governor, number two, to attempt at defecting to the APC. Because if you ask me, they did not meet the constitutional requirement, both on the part of the party constitution and the constitution governing, public office holder in Nigeria as far as defection is concerned. They did not meet those requirements. Now, so we call it as an attempted defection. Now, why they attempted to remove the governor and then attempted to defect, now I cannot have a stronghold as to why they did all that. But at the end of the day, we now saw a situation where, they were never on the same page as far as what were being done by the state governor is concerned. Now you now expect that the former governor, who is the prime minister of the FCT, will come in as the father figure that I just mentioned, or that he is, to make sure there's peace between the two warring factions. But the question that one would be forced to ask is this: is the executive governor of the state willing to listen to whatever the father figure, in quotes, the FCT minister, whatever I have to offer as as a solution to the impasse between the legislative and the executive arm? Is the governor ready to listen? It is in this country that, if you can recall very well, because we will bring in the president as even a fifth party, that there was meeting held with the governor, the FCT minister, and other in Okoro, and then resolutions were brought to force, in which everywhere concerned citizens saw it, that the governor is signed, and then there were issues of implementation, and then those agreements were grossly abandoned. That finally climaxed to a point where the Supreme Court have to now say, okay, apparently what the president tried to do is the right thing, so go back and do it.
Okay.
So,
let me pause you here, Vincent. We'll continue in a bit. Let's watch the video where the president was actually calling for the state of emergency, announcing the state of emergency in Rivers State.
Okay,
we will be with you shortly. Just hold on.
Excluded, that is the governor, in cohort with 4 members and on court. The Supreme Court then made some orders to restore the state to immediate constitutional democracy. These orders include the immediate passing of an appropriation bill by the Rivers State House of Assembly, which up to now has not been facilitated. Some militants had threatened fire and brimstone against their perceived enemies of the governor, who has up to now not disowned them. Apart from that, both the House and the governor have not been able to work together. Both of them do not realize that they are in office to work together for the peace and good governance of the state. The latest security report made available to me show that between yesterday and today, there have been disturbing incidents of vandalization of pipelines by some militants without governor taking any action to curtail them. I have, of course, given stand order to the security agencies to ensure safety of lives of good people of Rivers State and the oil pipelines. With all this and many more, no good and responsible president will stand by and allow the grave situation to continue without taking remedial steps prescribed by the Constitution to address the situation in the state, which no doubt requires extraordinary measures to restore good governance, peace, order, and security. In these circumstances, having soberly reflected on and evaluated the political situation in Rivers State, and the governor and deputy governor of Rivers State having failed to make a request to me as president to issue this proclamation as required by Section 305, Paragraph 5 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, it has become inevitably compelling for me to invoke the provision of the Section 305 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State with effect from today, 18th March, year 2025, and I so do. By this declaration, the governor of Rivers State, Mr. Similai Fubara, his deputy, Mrs. Ngozi Oju, and all elected members of the House of Assembly State are hereby suspended for an initial period of 6 months.
You just saw a video of the president calling for state of emergency in Rivers State and appointing Vice Admiral Ete Ibas as the sole administrator of Rivers State. We are still having the conversation with Vincent Ogenekewe Okoro on IYC calling for immediate sack of FCT Minister Nyesome Wike, threatening the federal government, and it's culminating in the recent event. As we begin to conclude, Vincent, does it look like there is more to all of this than just a political tussle between Nyesome Wike and Sim Fubara? Does it look like there are external forces playing here?
Okay, now Rivers State is not like every other state in Nigeria.
Okay. You know, what stands the state out?
It is counted as the state that laid the golden egg. You know, whatever that means, or the extent to which that statement mean, you know, how potent that statement is, you know, it's a subject of debate. Now, since if that statement of Rivers State laid the golden egg, if anything to go by, then it means that parties that hold interest, you know, on the issues pertaining to politics in Rivers State transcend Fubara and Wike alone. Now we have the government, then we have those who are the head of the government, then we have the people that they are leading, and then we have leadership at various levels. We have the ordinary people. Now all these people hold interest in everything that is happening in the state. Like if you go online, then you will see that it is difficult for you to pinpoint where the people, or let me say the ordinary people, to say as it were, are pitching their tent. You know, you will see some people say that Fubara is doing well, another said to tell you Fubara is not doing well, another said people will come and say the minister of the FCT should remain there, he should not come to River State. Other will tell you that there is his state. Then you have the IYC one side doing their own thing, and then inside the IYC, you know, can we say that they are united? The questions are so enormous that whine and then we're breeding confusion everywhere, which is rather very, very unfortunate. So as it is not down to, we cannot say that it is down to two parties alone, being the FCT minister and the governor. But like as I said earlier, the governor have the knife and the yam. So whatever is happening can be traced to his doorstep first, before any other person.
Okay.
So, and that is basically how I feel the whole thing. Like the IYC threatening brimstone and fire, you know, will they really say that doing the governor good?
Do you think the president will listen to them?
All that is subject to debate.
Do you think the president will hearken to their calls? Before this the protest that was staged today, they said, I read somewhere that the IYC, okay, not IYC now, but some Ijaw persons were asking the president that even if Sim Fubara would be impeached, that another governor from Ijaw extraction be elected. I don't know how that will happen, if it will happen by the way of appointment for the Rivers people, but he be replaced by another Ijaw person. Do you think the president will pay them an ear?
First and foremost, everyone is entitled to their opinion. Everyone, including the FCT minister, the governor, the president, everybody is entitled to their opinion. But everything will now boil down to the constitution. Now, ordinarily, the constitution is for the people. But the people who have enacted the constitution cannot go against the constitution. So if the law says that if the governor is impeached, his deputy take over, that is what will happen. If the law says that if the governor is impeached, an ordinary citizen will be picked from the street to take over, so it will be. If any person as it were becomes the governor, as long as he meets the requirement to be governor, it will be irrespective of where the person comes from.
All right.
Now we have our settlement with respect to we are of a different region, we are of different states, we are of different political zone, the different constituency. We upland and Riverine as it is in River State. We have all that, but does the constitution support that if an Ijaw man is coming down from state and Ijaw man must replace him as it is now? That is where the question lies. And then there's something that the FCT minister always say: power is not giving, it is taking. So in other words, if I want to be governor, I have to do what is required and position myself to qualify to ascend the throne as the governor of the state. So you don't just sit down and say, because I am an Okoro man, I am an Ijaw man, I am a Kalabari man, I am an Ogoni man, I'm from Iche, I'm an Iche man, or as a non-indigenous and from Delta State, so therefore it is my turn to be governor, then it will just be given to me. No. So anyone that wants to be governor, first and foremost, are you coming as governor for the interest of River people, or you are coming as governor for your own pocket or for your own wish? So the question of the constitution must be answered, and then the question of what the people want must also be answered. So it's not down to one group of people to come and say this is what must happen.
Oh, okay. Why I brought that up? Why I brought that up was the issue of equity, knowing that no governor from Ijaw extraction has ever been governor in River State. That was why I called that up. But at this point, we're going to leave this conversation here and take it from another angle. Thank you very much, Vincent Ogenekewe Okoro, for joining us on Political this evening.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure. Look forward to joining you guys another day.
All right. We'll take a break. When we return, we have another angle to this conversation. Stay with us.
Save Nature TV. News in your pocket.